Hey, you guys. Good morning. It's MJ from All to Love. It's the actual full moon today, I think, or tomorrow. And the energies are really drawing me into this sense of like return to innocence and return to wholeness. So, we've been on the path or on the journey and learning about manifestation and thus learning about our own self, learning about our emotions, disciplining our minds, and there's like a momentum building as in our own lives as individuals and collectively. And there's also a sort of culminating and continual sense of choosing and remembering that our present moment is always where the power is, and it is in our choosing. So our relationship to mind, body, feeling, spirit, right? To me personally, how part of why I'm so weird is that I've kind of never been able to separate it all. I just sense the wholeness of existence, right? The the container of all that is and the void. How we can witness the duality of our own creation. And it is in this sort of recognition in our duality that we reclaim our wholeness and thus a return to wholeness, a return to innocence. So there's this idea of a completion process or an ascension process. And to me, again, it's just our ability to own and transform our emotional densities, which some people might call trauma, some people might call clearing, healing. Again, it's just instead of living these lives where we feel disempowered and victims and like, oh, life is shit and the world is miserable and blah, 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 right? This really dense, heavy energy. We as individuals have to be the ones to transform that density, to lift ourselves up. And I can honestly say it's not ever necessarily what we think. When we latch on to people or when we hold on to people, it can be really kind of surprising when people vacate our lives and or when we decide to make movement, when we decide to change. And I can honestly say that every single thing that's happened to me this year, I do know deep down that like it had to happen, that these deeper lessons, these deeper insights born out of creating a situation of betrayal, deception, lies, like creating these situations to help myself see more depth of the human condition, to see the multi-layered kind of convolution of people's point of attraction because they've closed down their heart. They're afraid to feel. And I'm really honoring where I'm at as far as stepping into my courage, stepping into my wholeness, right? And not seeking anything from other than the point of attraction being to give and to accept. For me, that's like the leap now, is that I just, for me, I'm in the space of being open and willing to receive. It's a lesson. It's a step in the guidebook, you guys. And then of course you're open to receive when you're in your wholeness, right? When you're in your innocence. It's like a child is always wanting that love, that nurturing. We want to be loved, we want to be held, we want to be supported. And yet a lot of us have trauma. And so we actually play games with each other. We lie to one another. We make up excuses for our behavior rather than just dropping in to the ugliness of it and the grit of it. And that's something that this next wave, you could say, is really going to usher a deeper awakening of more of humanity where they're like, oh, it's me, and those of us who've just kind of endeavored the journey already are here to say it's brutal. It's this whole for me personally, this whole ascension and awakening journey, yeah, has been intense. I've been through many transformational cycles already in my life, and finally, finally, I remember bumping into an astrologer on a beach in Varkala in India, and he said, "When you're 28, things will start to get better when you're 28." And I was like, "Dude, I'm 28 now, man." And he's like, "Oh, very good." And uh so like 28 to 36 or whatever, or 34, that like it was an improvement for sure, but there were still like underlying something's not quite right, you know, like, and seeing that now, like after a denouement or after a fallout, seeing that, oh, like I didn't fit in. I wasn't accepted by these people. I wasn't, and like hence showing the truth of my own heart when I'm like, I'm not sure if I want to feel comfortable. Like I'm not sure if I want to, and there's a two-way, right? But for me, it's that deepening that sense of intuition so that I don't kind of unconsciously try to force a situation because I think I'm in love with someone, or, you know, and we're all, when it comes to love, we, in my heart anyway, like I really do believe we all have love for all that is, like even the monsters, even the scary, even the deep and frightening, terrible, terrible things that we create. There is like still this weird element of love, just like that kind of hatred, that contempt, and that fear, that's in us too, right? And we're not here to deny any of it, but we're here to choose our preference. And the preference for me for sure is like love, vibration, abundance, living life well, enjoying life. And I wouldn't be able to like for sure truthfully genuinely radiate that to you guys if it wasn't true. And how, I don't know why, you know, and you know, this sense of return to wholeness. It's like also a digging in. It's like dropping in, digging in, being kind of fierce about the wholeness that we are, and not giving a ras about anything else, basically. Um, and I guess in my mind, I just really am practicing staying in my heart and disciplining the thoughts that kind of repeatedly go over situations, instead of just saying like people choose, just like I choose, people choose, and all is well. And this full moon is really the completion for me. It's over. My past is over. It's done. I know that on the physical manifestation level, there are like just a couple of like threads that I need to either cut or you know, pull out or whatever, and that will complete off that cycle on the physical. But like energetically, it's embodied. Energetically, it's over, and I'm really happy to feel the clarity of presence and feel the clarity of innocence and love within the heart. And that's something like, you know, there's something very different between arrogance and a sense of like superiority, being better than, that's our ego, right? That's our projected sense of self, versus like just genuine like super duper love. Like I know where I've come from and now where I am, and I'm like, oh my god, I love myself, I love that. That's wholeness, right? And it's only when I'm like fully in the wholeness of my own self that I can really radiate love for other people, that I can really genuinely stand in the presence of my own love and share that with you guys. So there's our wholeness. Hidden observer, I haven't seen you. Enjoy your 20s. Would love a redo. Yeah, they were rough, but boasted yourself for sure. This is our whole like the hero's journey, and we're going through it in our individual soul cycle, you know, like the planets are, and we do transform darkness and rise. It's, I think, going from like the 3D reality into this more expanded, some people say 5D. I'm not really into that language per se, but like just this, like, it makes me kind of want to cry in some moments of like arriving at a destination you didn't even necessarily know for sure was there for you. But when you arrive, you're like, I intended to get here. I intended to get here. And it was a wild ride, and it was really scary, and it was really painful in some moments, and really confusing, and bittersweet, you know. But in my own wholeness, I'm not afraid anymore, nor am I seeking myself in other. And that is the biggest. You know, I was somebody who went from pretty much like the age of 16, just went from relationship to relationship, and I can see the programs so clearly, men and women alike. There's a very deep wound which that perpetuates our like neediness in relationship, whether it's friends, whatever, money. And then as we work with dissolving that, and again, it's coming back to wholeness now that I've like transformed loads of childhood patterns up to this point. The wholeness I feel are like the memories of old. They're like some of my earliest memories of like looking into fields and playing alone in the creeks and stuff like that. And now it's the sense of building and allowing a tribe to form. And it's little, you know, like everything's changed for me. That sense of some grandiose life is non-existent anymore. Peacefulness, love, obviously, are all around, and that's present inside us. That's the point of wholeness. Wholeness doesn't look like anything on the external level. Wholeness is a state of being that we feel, and we know we're innocent, and we know that we're the one creator, right? And so our desired impact or effect is that our tribe then are filled with whole creators who expand and share love and extend love and dialogue from that place of love. So within that, those communities then extend that love further in a more amplified and accelerated way. And then that continues to accelerate and transform the world. Hidden observer, hey, I spoke of you in another, and I was starting to think yesterday, how about saying hidden observer anywhere? Where are you? Anywho, have a wonderful day. I hope that was useful to you. Thank you guys so much for all of your comments of late. I really appreciate it. I also love the live share and love having interactions. The seeking of approval. It never really comes, does it? We never find it when we're seeking it, because that seeking energy is kind of covering up a wound. You have to approve of self. I know, it's all there inside, isn't it? Happy full moon, everybody. I hope that you feel whole. I hope that you feel glorious in all that you are. And I'm sending a big love hug, virtual love hug. Oh, look, I got some cool new, what are they called, guys? Not earrings, rings. I got some new rings from North Lanes. Yesterday we were vintage shopping in Brighton, so I've got some really cool content coming for Zenful Zero Waste course. Hidden Observer, have an awesome day. Love you loads, and I look forward to seeing you on the flippity flop after the full moon. Happy intention setting, everybody. I hope the light shines brightly upon your life. Take care. Peace out.